Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah, coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, of all praises to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Pray that the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of things that are soon to come on the earth. Seen a couple of videos in my newsfeed talking about the 4th century and the canonization of the scriptures, and we've all been duped. We've all been lied to, even about these dates as well. And like I said, when I first got into the truth, I used to memorize all these dates and the 325 A.D. and canonization, of the scriptures by Constantine, and made my kids, memorize all these scriptures, so just in case they got into an argument, they knew all this history and everything else. And as now we've come into the end, the Most High is showing how all of that has been a lie. And you're going to see how that 325 AD number has been given to us, and how history does not prove that that's true at all. And even how, we've been taught about the 1611 Bible, and how, when we come into the truth, and that's the only Bible that we are going to use, and this, and that. Well, that was pretty much the only Bible that was even in existence at that time. And we're going to get into that as well. Might have been other offshoots and things like that. I said, but you're going to see the true source of the scriptures that these Gentiles were using. Now we know we're going to have to learn how you can't take anything if you these people say, for their word. We've gotten to the point now where you should easily be able to see. You can see spirits. You can see how these spirits are right now. Even if not wearing a mask is true or not, or whatever else, you see the pride on these people just as you walk in society, how they just refuse to have any of their freedoms taken away. Most High is just with this whole situation with just wearing masks. If masks were, able to keep you from, getting sick and everything else like they say they would, you would think that most people would just go ahead and do that. But you see so much pride in these people that many refuse to do that, even to their, to their own detriment. And that's what we're at right now. These people have lied about so much that you really can't, if they're willing to lie to you about what happened yesterday, and you see it on video, and you can see it's a lie, why would you believe anything that these people say? Why would you believe history that they've made up thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago? You know that they can't be trusted, and you know that they lie. But what I see is just crazy is that even people in the truth, who say they're in the truth, still take whatever these people say and don't question it. And that's what we're going to get into right now. We're going to we're going to look at a little timeline right now. And this is how we've been taught to read the scriptures. Here a little, there a little. Precept upon precept, line upon line. That's how you have to look at history as well. That's how you have to look at things that they say as well. You have to look at many different sources. You can't think that they're going to put everything in one source and have it all there for you. That's why for so many years they refused to let our people or anybody read the Bible. They were like, pretty much, hey, we have to read it for you and we have to interpret it for you. And those effects last all the way till today. Very few people will look at the Bible and look at history and try to make things fit. They want to, and even now, even today, they only read parts of the Bible. They refuse to read other parts of the Bible. All of it's true, but they only concentrate on certain sections. I'll check this part out right here. Like I said, from now on, when people, especially for the other nations, tell you something, tell them to prove it. Do not take anything that they say as the gospel truth. If you haven't had your eyes open enough, you're going to have them even opened wider tonight. Right here, this is in the Medieval Empire of the Israelites book. Check this part out in the middle. It is assumed Well, let's go over right on top. So one needs to recognize that these manuscripts also cannot serve as evidence of the Bible's antiquity. Okay, this is about the ones in the Qumran caves. Okay, the Dead Sea Scrolls. It goes. It is assumed that its canon was established by the Council of Laodicea, supposedly in 363 A.D. However, no documents of this and other early councils were preserved. Now, if you're going to be setting up the canonization of the Bible, wouldn't you think it'd be kind of important to keep those records? If you think that you are in some kind of a moral authority to put scriptures together at this time, wouldn't you think that there would be some records of it? That's why I said you tell these people now to show you the receipts, show you the proof. Don't tell me anything until you show me the proof. These people don't show proof of anything. They're in the point where they can just say it and it's true. And then the next day lie about it. Oh, I didn't say that. What are you talking? I didn't say that. That's what they do today, and it's beautiful how the Most High is bringing it out. He's bringing out their spirit front and center every day for you to look at it on television. Esau lies about absolutely everything. Today's Tuesday. He says it's Friday. And if he says it's Friday, it's Friday. That's just the way that his spirit is. There's no truth in him. It was talked about in Daniel how they were going to change times. And that's exactly what they're doing right here. Check this out. Let's continue. However, no documents of this and other early councils were preserved. So they didn't keep any of it. All right. In reality, okay, then the canon is considered officially established only from the time of the Council of Trent, which was convened in 1545 and lasted with breaks until 1563. So now we got a 1,200-year gap here. And that's what this book is really showing. It's really making it very easy to see how a lot of things that they said happened before did not happen during those times. So now, they didn't even, set up the whole canonization, until 1563. Let's read that one more time because that's huge. And going forward, you're going to see why King James does what he does and why we have the 1611 Bible and everything else. Okay. So again, it is assumed that its canon was established by the Council of Laodicea, supposedly in 363 AD. However, no documents of this and other early councils were preserved. In reality, then, the canon is considered officially established only from the time of the Council of Trent, which was convened in 1545 and lasted with breaks until 1563. So all this stuff about 325 and 4th century is not official. They don't have any records of it whatsoever. So like I said, these people have been lying about absolutely everything. Okay? So disputes and the struggle of various groups at the council around the biblical canon lasted nearly 17 years. We emphasize at the end of the 16th century. See, everything that they're showing is like they didn't even show up until 16th, 15th century, around that time. All these things that they said that were established a long time ago weren't established until way later. Okay? The Council of Trent not only approved the canon of the Bible on its orders, they compiled the sadly famous index of forbidden books and destroyed a mass of writings which were recognized as apocryphal. Okay, in particular, the annals of the Judaic and Israelite kings. Now, we talked about this before. All right, so I want you to get that now. So not till the Council of Trent, not till 1563. That's when they started that's when the canonization, I guess, was officially set up. All right, now let's skip up. We're gonna read this book. I got this book actually from watching one of the King Drop videos from a long time ago. History of the United States. Now, what you're gonna see is this. On the right-hand side, King James actually visited the Americas. Actually, that's what this book is saying right here. Okay, that he visited the Americas around 1603. All right, so that's what this part right here is talking about. If I need to, I'll put up some other pictures on the website because there's actually a couple of other pictures, and I'll take some more, and we can put it on the website, and you guys can take a look at it a little more in depth. But it talks about King James actually visiting the Americas in 1603. Okay, so that's what this book is telling you. Does anybody know what happened in 1604? Why don't you guys take a guess at what happened in 1604? You probably already guessed it. Take a look here at the origins of the King James Bible. Remember, they're going to say this came from the Hebrew and the Greek and all this other stuff, right? A handwritten draft of the world's most famous Bible has been discovered in England, okay? Wait a minute, hold on. All right. In the middle right there. 47 translators. Actually, let's start at the top. There's a strong desire to see the King James Bible as a uniform object and a belief that it's great because of its collaborative nature. Miller tells Schussler. It was incredibly collaborative, but it was done in a much more complicated, nuanced, and at times individualistic way than we've ever really had good evidence to believe. 47 translators and scholars produced the King James Bible, which was first published in 1611. The project dates back to 1604. So that's kind of funny. He comes over here in 1603, then all of a sudden decides to start translating the Bible in 1604. You think all this stuff is a coincidence? You don't think they came over here because I got other books that talks about how the records here of the natives were way more meticulous than what anything they had over in Europe, and that they actually had a much better understanding of the Most High than the people in Europe. I have maybe I'll make another video on that or find the one that I did before. But there you go. So they come over here, 1603, gathering up information. You know, at least that could be, hey, look at the timing. 1603, then all of a sudden in 1604, we're starting to put the Bible together. You think, oh, that's a coincidence? Just like when it came over here, remember now, saw the information about the astronomy over here, the calendars they had over here, went back over there. Then all of a sudden, you know, Rome or the Catholic Church figures out what they did wrong with the calendar and was able to fix it. So now you have that with astronomy, okay, and the calendar. Now you've seen it again with the scriptures. 1603, King James comes over here. 1604, he puts a group of people together to start to translate the Bible. And that's what's going on right here. Okay? So again, 47 translators and scholars produced the King James Bible, which was first published in 1611. The project dates back to 1604, when King James I decided a new version could help consolidate political power. A popular Puritan Bible had downplayed the divine rights of kings, greatly offending James, and James manipulated different Christian sects until they agreed to produce a different translation. Okay, so the result became an incredible, long-lasting success. The King James Bible has influenced language, literature, and culture for more than 400 years. So before he came to the Americas, there was no uniform Bible that has lasted like this one has right here. But why is that? Because right here, Council of Trent, it's 1563. So about 40 years later, King James travels to the New World. 1 year later after that, all of a sudden he's rewriting the Bible. And that's not rewriting it, he's translating it with his people. And then that's the one that's been in existence pretty much for the 400 years. Crazy, isn't it? It all makes sense. How fast all this stuff happened. It wasn't in 363. Because where are all those Bibles at? See, and these guys in this book go through and they look and they find out there's a lot of information that they've claimed is not true, or books that are forgeries and things like that. So now you look here, right here, King James right here is around 1603. And I guess I'll try to get some more of those pictures over there onto the website or at bigjudah.com. And then we got right here, a little bit, you can go ahead and read that article to yourself, for yourself right there. Project right there begins around 1604. And then bam, we got the King James Bible 1611. Then you come into this truth, and what do they say? Okay, we only deal with the 1611. Well, why is that? Because Council of Trent was the one that set all that stuff up. They're the ones that set up the canonization of the books. King James, about 40 years later, comes over here, finds out that the records are much better over here. And then a year later, 40 plus people get together and start translating the Bible. And I got after 1611, it gets released, and then that's the one that's pretty much dominated ever since. So you see, people now, like I said, you decide for yourself. I think that sounds a lot more feasible than, hey, 325, they set us all up for 1100 years or whatever else. They've had the same, I haven't seen a whole bunch of Bibles earlier than 1611. But the one that's been in use for the most part for the last 400 years, during the time of our captivity, during the time of our destruction, was the one that King James came over here, and all of a sudden he just started to rewrite over there. So I mean, you make your choice, but I mean, see what makes more sense and see what fits better. Just want to bring you guys this quick video. I think this is absolutely amazing. Most High put all this information together. He said, and if it's not true, and there was all these Bibles before, prove it. Show it. Show the receipts. We see the Vatican has all this stuff tucked away and hidden, supposedly, and that's a double-edged sword, because they're not going to pull out stuff that's going to prove them right, and they're not going to pull out stuff that's going to prove us wrong. They haven't had to for a very long time. All they've had to do is just say it, and it be true. But we know that that's not true anymore. All praise is to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.